Recording in progress.
So I'm just going to record that for our members who weren't able to come, to quickly renew the subscription. Okay. I'm having a little problem. Zoom's frozen. That's unfortunate. Might not be able to. I'm having a few technical issues, of all things. My computer's completely frozen. Like they can't hear me anyway.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, modern technology. It challenges us, doesn't it?
We can see you and hear you, Julia, though.
Oh, can you? Like my screen is completely frozen at my end, and so
No,
what
I
I'm
can
trying
see
to.
you.
Oh, that's good. But what I'm trying to do is share the PowerPoint so we can see the agenda and everything. And normally that just pops up. You click. You know, I've used Zoom just about every day, and so. But I'm actually going to exit, although my screen's frozen. Hi, Kirsty. I'm just having a few moments with my computer because all of a sudden it's completely frozen. And it's nothing to do with the system. All worked fine, and I just pushed screen share and everything. Oh, okay, we're back. I'm gonna hi. Can you see a welcome? The internet's unstable. Really? Yep, I think so. Okay. Sorry, folks. Everything worked well in the dry run. So can you people at home see that?
What is that?
Oh, sorry. It keeps the mouse is jumping around. It's frozen. Can you see a welcome slide that says "Welcome to the We Write In chat group"?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, we can see it in the background.
Can't we see it behind your left shoulder?
Yeah.
That could be the solution. Look, I'm not quite sure. In an ideal world, I should be able to share my screen and you should be able to see that. Yeah. But anyway, let's just press on with this as a short-term solution, and hopefully it unfreezes itself and we're all good. So warm welcome to the We Write In. Cool. Yeah, from Dunedin. And so who are we? First and foremost, we're a community of people, a community of writers, and that means we're tutors and we are students, and we are joined together by some fancy technology, which usually works just fine. And here are some of our tutors. We have been teaching the Great Write-In and the program. And I'll take you through who they are in a few moments, just really to welcome you all. And this is a photograph of some of our writers who joined in cohort 1. And so tonight at this meeting, we've got room and Zoom. So we've got a few people in the room, and we've got others joined by Zoom. So tonight we Fiona Cole. She just put in a late apology. So I prepared this slide yesterday when all the RSVPs were in. And we've got Suzanne. She's waving. Do you want to come and say hello, or should we just keep you going? And Kirsty McKinnon is here. Hi Kirsty. Wilma Mackay is joining in perhaps later from Zoom, or she might pop in. She really didn't know. Estelle is here.
She's here. She's here.
Oh, she's here. Yes, there she is. Oh, yeah, I can see. Yeah. And Estelle Cook is here from Wellington. If you can give us a wave, Estelle. And Raywin has joined us. She's from the first cohort. And Ebony is here. Great that you've made it, Ebony. Thank you. And then we have also got from our first cohort, we've got Anne Jacobson and Gracie McKenzie and Ebony Hyde. So they're all the first cohort, the first writers that came through the Great Write-In. And this is a picture of us here. Hopefully you can all see. And then we're also on the Zoom and in the room, we've got a few of our writers from cohort 2 who are just experiencing the program learning online. So Zita O'Neill has not arrived yet from Rotorua. Angela Pope is here. So hello, Angela. Sam Killian and Sandra Velada were unsure. So, but I just thought I'd bring up their names so you know who they are in the cohort. And then we're also really thrilled to invite a new lot of guest writers, and many of you I've never met before. So welcome Prop from Oamaru. You can give us a wave. Lindsay Irving. Is Lindsay? Steve Muir is here. Mike Sanders is in the room. He's giving a wave. Leslie, Sonia, Jeanette, and Mary Prendergast. So welcome to you all. And in an ideal world, now does anyone want to say a quick hello? It's a little bit awkward with the technology, but perhaps we'll just press on. So I'm Julia Ann. I'm the coordinator of the Great Write-In and the Wee Write-In. I'm also an author and of a book called Secret Diary of an Entrepreneur, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be back here in Dunedin for this Wee Write-In. So here we are. We're at the public library, very nice venue and lovely crowd here. So great that we can use this technology and be all together. So our agenda was circulated, but what we'll do is, for those of you who've never heard of the Great Write-In, I'll explain what it's all about, and then we'll have some writers sharing their stories. We'll give you an update on our collection, and then we've got a lesson, Edit Like a Pro, and then we've got a bit of news at the end. So hopefully you're comfortable there. So welcome to this thing we call the Great Write-In. Now it started as a small live event, and I just wanted to put this slide up because when we just ran a small pilot program, and we were using some imagery with this sort of parchment, and we've actually gone away from that. So just for those who started with the program now know that we've using slightly different imagery. And I just wanted to acknowledge Alice Charity. She's actually my daughter. She created a lot of the images for us. So what is the Great Write-In? It's basically helping writers go from taking an idea all the way through to a published story. And a lot of people do take the long, slow, hard way, and it's frustrating and challenging. We are helping writers by offering a bit of a shortcut with some education and lessons, as well as a community called the Wee Write-In. That's these informal gatherings. And so what we did was we took the writing process. This is by writers for writers. We are, as we understand it, we actually broke the writer's journey down into 7 discrete steps shown here. And to make it easier for new writers and even experienced writers to kind of get to grips with their story. And we divided the educational components into two parts. One is called The Great Write-In, and the other is Publish Me. So introducing some of our tutors with our masterclasses in the early part of the program, and we've sort of gamified this. So creating a character, choosing a room, involving an object, and then writing. And so we've got creating a character with Amy Scott, choosing a room with Fiona Farrell, involving an object with Catherine Chidgey, and writing well with Diane Brown. In our second program, we've got the Publish Me, and a few of our tutors are showed here, and we've got another program occurring in September where we're bringing on another sort of 7 or 8 experts in the publishing industry across New Zealand to help really fill out this really important program that we've been developing. So who are we and who's this for? So for the students, we warmly invite and welcome all genres. And so in our community, we've got a wide range of genres, and we're also very gender friendly and welcome the youth voice, particularly those from the Pride community. And so the program has been developed for writers who might be stuck at home anywhere in the world. We've also offer a community license. So if you're in a writers group and you're looking for something to do, we do offer community licenses where you can have full access to our programs and use that as an event or as a little fundraiser or something like that. So we've also starting to talk to retirement villages about how we can help our nannies and our grannies and our poppers sort of free their voice and write their story. And that's just starting to get underway. And we're also looking at having conversations how we could be involved somehow in one of the many festivals or several of the festivals. And when we made this program, we've made it for single people at home or for groups, tried to make it very, very low cost, relatively fast, a great source of inspiration, a really nice supportive community, and of course, very safe. So who is it made by? The Great Write-In was crafted by writers for writers. So we really do see us, the tutoring team, all as part of a community, some of them shown here. And it's backed by my company. I founded a company called Look After Me. We're all about experiences, real people, real places, creating real experiences for writers and for travellers. And we were very fortunate enough to be well supported with this program with our some funders and suppliers. So that's good. So how does it work? So it's been a bit of a journey for us as a writers community. We started in October 2021 with a 2-day program. Now 2 days is not long enough for any kind of learning, but it was a small pilot program, and with COVID, we really didn't want to overstretch, because it could have been cancelled at any moment. So we were fortunate enough to be able to still run it at level 2, but we kept that very small. And then we went through a phase where we'd video recorded all of those lectures, and we've now migrated all that content into a new online school, and that's now available, and that's only just opened. And so there are a number of students, I think about 20-something students, coming through that program, and a few of whom are here today. And then I'll talk to this a bit later. We've also got, we're welcoming a third cohort in a live event, which will be in Rotorua in September. I've got a couple of slides at that right at the end. So just to say that for anyone who's joining the Great Write-In, trying to find out what it's all about, this just to let you know, it's a bit of a process. And so we'll eventually also update our education portal with tours and retreats. So let's just flash back briefly to Dunedin, where we were. We had a fantastic event, a New Writers Festival, and here are some of our writers. Great to see some of you in the room. I'm sure everyone's smiling and recognising themselves, so hopefully you can see that. And people generally were quite happy with the quality of the education and the event, and one of the measures that we used was a net promoter score of 9.3 out of 10, which is really encouraging that writers really like the program. And so now we've put together this, what we're calling an education hub or an online portal, online school. We're sort of, working out what the meaning, so the right word is. And we use professional software called Teachable. It's designed for teaching people at home and making it really easy. And we gamified the process, like Cluedo, inspired by Cluedo. Create a character, you create a character, choose a room, involve an object, and write a story. And so for more information, you can simply Google The Great Write-In. You'll probably come up with a web page. See if it's working. I'm reluctant to do anything. I was going to take you across to that link. I'll see if I can get there. Ooh. No. Yeah, so look after me, blog page, and you can easily, if you wanted to find any more information, go to our Great Write-In, and you'll see all the information there. I've just realized I've been doing this and it hasn't shown up on the projector or the screen, so sorry. Oh, okay, so the people at home can now see my screen. I was hoping, so now I will, that's good. So, but these guys can't, so let me, I'll just carry on over here. Just to say that this, if you need more information, Google The Great Write-In and follow those prompts. And I've got a snapshot of sort of what it looks like. Yep, you guys can see now, right? That's good. Yay, that's helpful. Great. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Thank you, Kirsty, for allowing us to use your image. Yeah, so a portal for writers. We've got a little bit of information about us and our tutors, and we made it really easy just to learn, broken the programs as I explained into the programs. You can choose The Great Write-In, Publish Me, or the whole lot. We've created a new the teaching platform. It's all nice and neatly laid out. So introductions, I'll just take you through it really quickly, like an intro video with the official opening by the mayor, and then writers can either choose to go out in their own environment in your own city, wherever you are, to visit a museum or some place of inspiration, or stay online, stay inside. We've got virtual tours, we've got video tours. We've even got a 183-page booklet, which I created for you, where we go room by room through Ulverston Historic Home, which is an Edwardian villa in Dunedin. And I'm just going to flick through some really beautiful photos. You can see it's got illustrious furnishings, a really beautiful place for inspiration. And our writers who attended have used Frozen. Oh, I know why. Okay. Having a little issue again. I've just got a white screen.
Yeah, I have.
So have we.
I have no idea why. I'm going to see what I can do about that. it's just stopped. I'm going to go in another way. Sorry, I don't know why. Try so hard. Are we back? We're back. Just have to persevere sometimes. So where were we? Dunedin. Yeah, so yeah, just to say that the program is fully adaptable. You can use the program in Dunedin or anywhere, in fact, in New Zealand. So yeah, I've actually tried out this program myself. This is me and my daughter. We travelled all around New Zealand, Christchurch, a lot. These are mostly the South Island photos, but I live up in Rotorua, so I've been all over Hamilton, Tauranga, Taupo, Northland, you know, in looking at iconic buildings, and so we know this works. And so yeah, really invite you to enjoy masterclasses with our experts. And since we only had the 2-day program, and so for those of you in the room who already were there, in the new portal in this school, there's a lot more content that you haven't seen. So, you know, developing the character, we did that really lightly at the in the 2-day program, but there's a lot more content like for the character development. And just to say that the quality of the tutors that we've used, I thought about who were the best possible people in New Zealand, and then I asked them, and amazingly enough, they all said yes. So Fiona Farrell, of course, has won many awards, and the quality of the videos is very good. So we've got really high quality videos where you can meet our tutors, and all the masterclasses, all the exercises, creative, it's all just there. You just, you know, a click of a button, it's all just downloadable. Catherine Chidgey, I'm sure is very well known. She's got a number of awards and honours. And all through the teaching program, there's extra content that we've added since the program, where you can, you know, look at, see what her books, purchase her books, and so for those of you who haven't been involved in the portal, we do have a small fee. We're keeping it really modest, and so it's $67 to join, and we do have a special offer for any of you who haven't joined yet, and that's valid until the end of June. So we're having this Queen birthday opening special, and we hope that we're here to get, you know, some feedback from others, but certainly we wanted to keep it really affordable, and as people going into winter. So has anybody in the room or on the screen been working? Is there anyone at home who's had a look at the program and wants to offer any feedback? Is there anyone who's, I know there's a few new people here in the room. Has anyone been on the portal, got any feedback? Estelle, anybody? Just looking. Ebony, Angela, you're anyone on the Zoom? Raywin, anyone who has perhaps been at both the? I'm just interested in seeing if it's user friendly enough, or you know, we really welcome your feedback. No.
I really enjoyed coming down to Dunedin and doing the weekend, and I looked at the notes subsequently. I haven't looked much at the online material again, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, the weekend was fantastic, and the putting it into practice by writing a story was just wonderful.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for your feedback, Estelle. And great. The sound, actually, I didn't know that actually came through the speakers in the room, so that's great. Well, I've not used this room for this meeting before, so if anyone on the Zoom wants to communicate, please know that you will be heard by others in the room. So yeah, and yeah, don't be shy. And we'd really appreciate people sharing the knowledge. We made it for people like us, so we're all pretty new at this. We've given it our best shot, and we know there's still work to do, but with your help and support and feedback, we can only get better. And so now we're going to move to the section where we have authors sharing their stories. So I'm just going to flash back to what we've done in the past, and then we're going to hand it over to our speakers for this evening. So for those who've entered the Great Write-In program, they are welcome to submit a short story, and that's typically 1,500 words to 2,000 words. And so we have opportunities both at our live events, and there will be a live event in Rotorua where writers can share their stories, and also at these wee write-ins. So at the last wee write-in, we had a number of speakers, and I'll go through them, and that all of their content is now in our writers community. So that won't happen all of the time, but we certainly felt with our first cohort, to help other people learning from home, it's quite nice to have some examples to follow. So in the community, we've got a section where you can meet the community. So this is Gracie McKenzie. Her story was called If I'm May. Her character was May. Her room was the Moroccan corner or the card room in Ulverston. Her object was the octagon table with the Arabic inscription. And so in our portal, there's the editor's comments. There's a photograph of Gracie receiving a prize for second prize. She's actually read that story to us, and that's been uploaded into YouTube. And she's also provided a copy of her story, so we have to provide inspiration. And it's all clearly note that Gracie owns full rights to that story, so we're just a portal. We don't own anything. There's a really nice video there from Winifred. Changed her life. She found it very inspirational. And we've also got Kirsty McKinnon, a few photographs here, and she's also in the room today sharing her story. And she wrote a story about the scullery, and in particular, and the story was called Deliveries, about a delivery, it's about the deliveries window. And here she is receiving her first prize certificate and reading the story, and all of the cohorts do have certificates and prizes. So now we're just trialing something here. When talking to Kirsty, she was the winning story, and we thought, well, eventually maybe this portal could be a way where we could sell our stories or work. We're not sure. We're trialing it out. So we're trialing this out with Kirsty, and we've just made with Kirsty's, it's $1.99 to purchase the story. So we don't know if this is what writers want, or we're just a community learning how to share our stories with each other. So we've made it super easy to purchase that story. It's only $1.99. So we're just trialing it out, and 90% goes to Kirsty and 10%, and that will be our formula. So just to help maintain the platform, because software is expensive to keep. So and so now we're going to move into our moment of sharing. And we have got, I've actually put this beautiful poem up by Kirsty. Now I didn't get a chance to tell Kirsty this is what I was doing, but but I thought I thought it was so nice, and I found it again today, and I thought, oh, this is the beautiful poem that Kirsty wrote while we were in the room, and I was just wondering if you would like to come and read it or not. We have got plenty of people sharing, but if you'd like to come and let the others, okay. So yeah, so just to say, all this content's in the in the portal. But without further ado, we've got 4. I can't see, Lindsay's not here, so we've got at least 3 writers, and that's good. That will keep us nicely on time. So in a few moments, I'm going to introduce Anne Jacobson. I'm going to stop sharing. Should I stop sharing? Can I ask a question? It's a dumb question. Can you still see me as well as the screen?
Not easily.
Yep.
But it's small,
No.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is I'm worried if I take it off screen share and show Anne, it'll freeze again. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to invite Anne. She's going to come and sit here so the microphone can pick up her voice. What I would like all of our writers to do is introduce yourself and your story. Just tell us a little bit about what inspired you, and then share your story. And so we'll start with Anne, and then we'll move to Prop, Lindsay if they turn up, and then Ebony. So Anne, if you would like to come forward, please.
Hi, I'm Anne, and this it's actually a poem, but in just a short kind of thing that I was working on. The poem is about, well, it will be apparent to you what it's about, but it's up in the Waitaki Valley, and I've called it Twinkle Star. Up the Waitaki, stars like sun on river, beyond dreams and people, certainty and uncertainty, structured on a clear night, millions of miles away, so near you can feel them, speaking and guiding, not in a way you think, a memory from under your feet, light, lifted by light, sometimes too hard to comprehend. Tuck the star on, I'll read that again. Tuck the star on your open space near where you lay your head. A spiral night by looking up, a sparkle that will always linger when you didn't get to say goodbye. First one, I'll just the next one. And this one is about cabbage trees. We've all got them in our backyards, haven't we? And the fronds that fall down. The cabbage tree was showing its whites of its eyes. The spikes are trying to lash out at someone, anybody. It was up against the house, a red brick house on a remarkable street. The police had been called because of noise, or the lack of noise. Of course, they found a dead body in the bathroom. It had been there for days, a cat wondering where its Purina one was. The seagulls came and went, looking for dinner, despite the cabbage fronds, prowl and upright, pointing at them. The neighbours said the man had been looking very grey, and he had been to the doctor with a cold and got COVID tested. One neighbour had said he would help him paint the roof, but of course, where would the energy come from? After all, the seagulls like the roof, especially the one-legged one, which he had nursed back to life. And all their mates had come. They were his friends, a partner in isolation. He kind of liked it that way. I learned never to cut the cabbage tree and not to expect a death or a row of them, especially if the wind had come blowing and the cabbage tree shows its whites of its eyes. So I don't know what you do now.
Thank you. I love poetry and really enjoyed the imagery of, first the stars. Like you've really, I love the sort of rhythm of it and the beautiful imagery. So thank you, Anne. It takes quite a lot of guts to share your poetry, but that's what this community is about: is learning, sharing, enjoying each other's work. So thank you so much for bringing that along and sharing that with us. Really appreciate it. So next we have got Prop Gildenhurst from Oamaru. So we've not met in person yet, but delighted that you've chosen to come along and share. So I'm going to mute me, I think, and then so I see that you look like you're ready to go. Prop, can you give us a nod, please? You ready to go? Good. Okay. So if you can just introduce yourself and start speaking, and we'll just do a sound check. So just watch me, and we'll just see if if we're all okay. So if you can kindly speak.
Right. How many minutes have I got?
5.
Between about mostly it's been about 5 and 10. So
Okay.
yeah, but we're well on time. We're right on time. So yeah, just
All right. Basically, I'm a yaya. Yaya, South African that says yeah for yes. And I think New Zealanders tend to say A. If you speak to them, you hear a lot of A's. So at a writers group, I was up in Pairoa. There was a Scotsman who ran a writers group, and his wife said, "Oh, you must be a yaya." So that sort of stuck with me. The purpose for me joining this evening is to sound out, trying to get a hook for a book I'm writing on Hundewasser. Now, could you give me a show of hands of people that have heard of Hundewasser
Yep.
at all? That's how you spell his name.
Yep.
And this is a book that I got out of the Oamaru Library. Hundewasser was an Austrian artist and architect who died in the year 2000. He bought a property up in Kerikeri called I've forgotten the name offhand. But he has designed the Kawakawa toilets. As an Austrian, he visited New Zealand and gave a couple of talks and promoted posters and postage stamps, and then chose Kawakawa for a home round about late 1975. And he befriended a local there and started planting trees. He designed the Kawakawa toilets. Now, as an architect or artist, he was very much against straight lines and square buildings. And so he was a guy that basically promoted a lot of circles. This cover of his book is a poster which he'd done, and it's basically a lot of faces with people with tall top hats. So I'm trying to promote a hook for a book on Hundewasser that I'm writing. I went through his toilets in Kawakawa. Then I took all my siblings when they used to come and visit us. Now, Kawakawa had a coal mine. That coal mine has stopped functioning, but they built a train. The train runs through the center of the town. And it was quite unique On this train journey, the conductors would tell you about this lava tree, a very unique tree in New Zealand. And this lava tree turned out to be a lava tree. It's a farm halfway along the train route that had a lot of toilets hanging off branches, as it were. I can remember there's a lavatory about the royal family. There's a lavatory about All Blacks rugby team. But so, yeah, that was quite something. So the hook that I'm writing is you're going to need 150 words. I've done about 50 odd books, mainly Rhodesian history, but New Zealanders aren't interested in Rhodesian history. You can talk rugby and then you hit the jackpot. So I've now started writing. Well, let me start again and say, I started writing because my grandmother gave me a book in roundabout late 1950s, and before she died. And the book was addressed to all of her grandchildren. So when I'm a military pilot by trade, served in the Rhodesian Air Force for 20 years. I've killed a lot of people. People in New Zealand raise their eyebrows when you say you've killed people. But I've also made peace with the people I've killed. Zimbabwe was ruled by Robert Mugabe for many years. And Ian Smith was our Winston Churchill for Rhodesia. But as you know, in 1980, the Lancaster House brought in a black government.
Just 5 more minutes, Prop. So yeah.
Okay. So the hook that I'm on is Hundertwasser was a Swiss architect who designed the Kawa public toilets. He died 2000, but also designed the Whangarei Art Centre. Now, that's got to be 150 words, and I'm trying to promote a hook to catch readers' attention. It's got to be about 150 words, and yeah, that is what I've come to this writers group for, is to see if we can improve on that hook. I'll repeat it. Hundertwasser was a Swiss artist and architect who designed the Kawa public toilets. He died 2000, but he also designed the Whangarei Art Centre. These were multi-million-dollar centers, by the way. That's my 5 minutes up. Thank you.
Thank you. And what an intriguing way to approach this. And I really like that you're asking for feedback. So Prop has asked for feedback on that 150 words. I didn't feel like it was 150 words, but anyway, so that and sort of like the jacket, like was it catchy enough? Did you immediately understand? Has anybody either on the Zoom or in the room got any feedback for Prop and how he's designing that hook for the story? So we're going to open up the floor, and if anyone's got any feedback for Prop, that would be great. And thanks for asking the question, and that's what we're here for, to help support and understand what your writer's journey is. So anyone, Jeanette, Angela, Steve, anyone got some feedback? Mary, any feedback
I
for?
think there was a missing word. but I can't tell you what it is now. But I'm thinking, oh, there should be an and or a that or an in or something like that there, but I can't recall now what it was, sorry.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Janet, not Jeanette.
Janet, sorry, Janet, thank you. And we've managed to put you all up on the screen so the people in the room can see you. It's finding it a little more engaging, so we could, you know, see who you were. Anyone in the room?
Sounds interesting. We've only 150 words. There's obviously a lot of photos, so
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if they can hear. So Suzanne here in the room was saying she thought it was really interesting, quite catchy. Can't wait to see the photographs. So we don't have a microphone on the floor, but I'm just relaying what the discussion in the room is. And was there someone else who wanted to say something?
Mary.
Mary. Hi, Mary. Go ahead, please.
Hi.
And then
well-
Janet.
You're muted, Mary. Bottom left.
Yeah, got it. Who was the first woman who spoke then? Julia?
Janet.
Oh, no, somebody on the floor, beg your pardon. Oh, well, anyway, following on from that person, I'd be interested to see some imagery or, I mean, everyone, I know I do, I often judge a book by its cover. So I think the cover is quite an important thing to consider. Yeah, that's just a comment I'd like to make.
Janet, did you have your hand up? Did you want to add something?
Yes, I was just going to say, I suggest Prop runs it past an editor to make sure it's okay, because I have a feeling there's a missing word there. I can't tell you what it was now, but it'd be a good idea to run it past an editor.
Yeah, we'll read it again. We said Hundertwasser was a Swiss artist and architect who designed the Kawa public toilets. Stop. He died in 2000.
Died in 2000.
Yeah.
Died in 2000. Word in.
But also designed the Whangarei Art Centre.
Yeah, the word in. Before 2000, the word 2000.
Good. Thank you. So thank you, Prop, for coming along and sharing that. It sounds like a great story.
Yeah.
I've visited Kawakawa and I know the toilets well, and I hope you've got some great photographs to go with that. So
I've been there too.
yeah, it's awesome,
I've
isn't
seen
it?
too.
Yeah. So now we're going to, so Lindsay Irvine was going to come, but I can't see that they're not in the room and they are not on the Zoom. So maybe next time. And Ebony, I had a question mark, but Ebony Hines is here. And there was a bit of a question mark. So we're going to have a chat. Ebony, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and then telling us if you're going to be sharing your story today.
Yeah, I can. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So excuse the ghostly glow. I have another screen like right down here that I'm reading from. So my name's Ebony. I was at Ulverston. My story was based on the window. So the Juliet window that's really high up, that's kind of in between those two rooms, if you remember the Great Hall and then the little salon up the top by the billiards room. And I'll just launch into it. Carrick, what you ask is impossible. A woman's voice rises shrill with emotion towards the high-set white ceiling, climbing up the warm wooden staircase and leaping to the plaster above, circling the lofty heights and filling the room with angst and fear. Statuesque and almost aquiline in appearance, the owner of the voice stands atop a lush Persian carpet, her right hand clutching a letter whilst her left gestures wildly towards the man before her who is donning his gloves in a measured and deliberate manner next to the door that leads to the vestibule. I am not a chess piece to be set aside every time you think the game is over. Her tone evokes a stress that is mirrored by her frantic motions, rising as they intensify. The room stretches wide and tall around the two standing in its midst. Warm woods and dark gold-patterned wallpaper dominate the space, a large fireplace in the middle of one wall, whilst the main staircase presides at the rear. A balcony giving off onto a series of rooms runs along one side of the first floor, whilst on the opposite wall, niched in beside the chimney, a curious little window with open shutters looks down onto the ground floor and from a darkened room beyond. The captain looks down and away as he pulls fastidiously at his navy blue cuffs, his movements both measured and controlled as are his words. Ansgar, please. It is his most placating tone, one that is supposed to end conversations and yet, in his wife, incites only frustration. Yes, yes, your duty, she spits it out, a hiss of spite born from years of being second, third, fourth even, to his overarching discipline and commitment to the crown, to his ship, but mostly to the sea, the vast, deep expanse to which he has been wed since his youth and to which he will return once more inevitably, no matter how much she protests. His back is to her now, shoulders broad and solid as the hull of his craft, spine straight and posture proper. The man she has grown to love despite his faults, and who has reciprocated in his own way, with reserve and tact in the beginning, oh so long ago, but then passion and heart as they grew together. Now, however, a void yawns between them, a churning more of turmoil and misunderstanding that widens as the captain, wordless now, heads for the door. I won't be here when, if you get back. Ansgar's words sound almost triumphant in the high hall, but for the notes of despair and foreboding that linger. The room is silent for a moment that stretches painfully into a minute. The strange window high above empty. There is no judgment coming from on high, though it radiates relentlessly between the pair, as it always does in moments such as these. The furrow between them widens into a ditch, dead air churning deeper as the captain inclines his head minutely, and then withdraws, the grand door groaning shut behind him as he casts off into the inky night beyond. The room is alive with silken flowers, perfumes winding through the air, blending with one another in a somehow pleasing fusion of olfactory chaos. Above, framed by that curious window with its shutters flung open in an attempt to bridge one room to the next, Ansgar watches the crowd and their finery, fingers moving listlessly against the cool, varnished wood, feeling for cracks and bumps as if they will reveal some secret to navigating this difficulty. Alas, she has never been particularly gifted at wayfinding, and the one person who could help is absent, so she clutches onto the timber, a solid hope in the sea of confusion in which she is adrift. With keen eyes, she reads the faces and gestures of those below, lamenting her choice to host such an event with the outside world and its impending sense of doom so scored upon her mind. How the pretty young people below can move so freely, so carelessly when war is afoot, and so many of their loved ones are, even now in its midst, she cannot quite fathom. And yet here they are, here she is. The clock strikes 8, a hefty thump to its tones, and a flicker of movement on the balcony opposite catches her eye. A tall man with set shoulders and sure-footed steps is turning the corner at the top of the stairs. A tall man whose carriage she would know anywhere, whose steps number 1 to her 2, and yet are always timed with politesse and grace that allow her to walk placidly. A tall man whose smile always curves in an almost imperceptible touch more when he looked at her. Carrick. Her feet are moving before she knows it, whisking her from the small parlour on high and through the billiards room, her hand reaching for the door handle even as her thoughts register their first confusion. A missive had been received this morning from Alpha Sector, assurances that all was well had been made, but Alpha Sector was too far to have made it back in such a short time. Technology was advanced, but not so much as to allow... Ansgar cuts off her thoughts as she opens the door, panic and hope both rising to grasp at her throat, fingers trembling as she swallows again and again, trying to work at the lump that threatens to choke her. The hallway beyond is empty, a black tunnel running from the top of the stairs to their bedroom door that is ever so slightly ajar, a light glimmering from betwixt the oaken gap afforded. A shadow moves briefly within the room, crossing the gap and moving away once more. She holds her breath, footsteps uncertain and hesitant, movements almost unsteady with the heady panic of it all, and then when she opens the bedroom door, nothing. Emptiness. And then she knows. Far away in the glistening black stretches of the ocean, a ship falters under laser fire and is lost. A tall man goes down with his ship, clutching a watch whose front case holds a picture of his wife. 1,000 voices scream out into the inky black in a silence forever. A war rages onwards, running roughshod over nations and people with a willful obstinacy that will see it live for years to come, feeding on brutality and death. Tallies of names are compiled in black and white columns on tablets and in bright hollow feeds streaming before fat-faced politicians who see advance and glory rather than casualties. For war, you see, is both different and yet ever the same. Its cost is individuals, mere names on a monument to some, and yet those names will always mean something to somebody. They will always quantify ultimate loss to someone, somewhere. The more things change, the more they are ever the same. Ansgar herds the partygoers out with an iron will, a snapping beak where required and a look in her eye that is both flinty and final. The festivities are done for the evening, though others might in future days complain of a night cut short or a dance not yet claimed. For her it is over, and the ship of happiness has sailed into the night now that she has survived the attempted asphyxiation of panic. Silks and dart suits swell around her as she herds them to the vestibule and beyond, a tide ebbing outwards, low chatter eddying in surges as they move to their hovercars or the magloop, abandoning the house and its firm fixtures of the past for the future in which they live their day-to-day lives. Before she turns at last to make her way back up the stairs, she spies a man in uniform moving against the stream of humanity, a man whose upright carriage reminds her painfully of her husband's. She drinks him in unwittingly, his uniform crisply pressed, his face purposely blank, and in his hands, calmly held and preciously kept, Ansgar knows without need for sight that there will be a crisp white envelope with an official seal, its blood red wax in a perfectionist round. Atop the Persian rug, she awaits his arrival to the fading sound of her guests who are departing not a moment too soon. His eyes navigate the way forward, and she reads his discomfort all too easily with an expression that is not unkind. To be the bearer of such news amid what he must see as a celebration cannot be easy, though she cannot bring herself to smile as her fate draws ever closer with measured steps. He comes to rest at the edge of the carpet, darkness lapping at his heels from the vestibule and the night beyond. Unwilling, unable to speak first, Ansgar waits, silence begetting silence, as the man inclines his upper body in a respectful bow, and finally commits the envelope unto her tremulously outstretched hand. His mouth opens and she moves her head in a minute negative, though he continues anyway with news that she already knows, words that she has long dreaded, a recitation that raises a bitter taste on her tongue, a churning in her gut, and a buzzing in her ears. The Admiral of the Fleet has entrusted me to express his deep regret. The room seems to spiral about her as the words drone onwards, walls crowding in as the officer bows once more and departs. Her knees give way and she sinks to the floor, her right hand clutching the crisp white letter, paper crinkling in the silence as her eyes screw shut and her mouth opens in a wordless stream. Silence stretches as night deepens around the beacon of light that is the house, and finally, inevitably, her sobs rise to the rafters in relentless waves. Leather suitcases and steamer trunks pile upon one another by the doorway as a woman in black watches slim worker bots move about the foyer, throwing thick white sheets over furniture, turning once wooden forms into phantoms and memories. Her face is shuttered, eyes rimmed in red and tinged with a pain that is just beneath the surface as she prepares to keep her promise, made in anger but forged with her will nonetheless. Above, outlined in that unusual window, the somehow insubstantial shadow of a broad-shouldered man fills the space as the bots spin about the floor, as Ansgar hesitates on the threshold of the room as her fingers trail along the doorframe. Its tenuous fingers press into the wood as if hoping to garner the warmth from her last passage, stoically silent as she lifts her head and looks straight through him, unseeing eyes that sweep now to the door and to her next solitary steps. He has returned, and she is keeping her word, a miserable compromise. Footsteps sound no longer beneath the window. The house is bereft, dispossessed, wanting. It sits in stasis, ghosts roaming its vintage hulk that is now rudderless and aging, adrift in a world that doesn't recognize or learn from the significance of its past, accumulating the losses of its past and future wars. It longs for peace, but bides its time once more, weathering a storm of absence and dust, awaiting another sailor to take its helm as the world moves on beyond its walls and silence settles in to stay. There we go.
I loved that story the minute I read it, and when the editor's comments came back and awarded Ebony with a highly commended for that gripping story. So many layers upon layers. I'm sure you'll agree. For those who were at Ulverston, you know, the whole the grandeur of the place and the parties, and there's so many emotions that, you know, flooding through as you're rereading that for us, Ebony. Beautifully read and a magnificent story. I hope you're really proud of it. It's a wonderful addition to our collection, and you know, thank you so much for persevering. It's not easy to write a story, but you did it, and now you've read it, and you know, you're a really valuable part of our great writing community. So, you know, thank you very much for sharing that with us tonight. What a treat. Great to hear.
Hope it was enjoyed.
No, it was amazing. Yeah, I'm sure, I don't know if you can hear all the clapping in the room, but it was definitely most appreciated. So that takes us to the end of our sharing session. So what we I think I stopped sharing. So, but basically, we're going to have a few minutes break to go. Everyone wants to go to the bathroom, refill the drinks here in the room or at home. It's 6:31 on my clock. We'll probably just take, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes at the most. And when we come back, we'll talk about what's going to happen with our collection. But I think we'll just have a small break, and that gives me a chance to see if I can get the I stopped the screen share so that we could see your faces on the screen as you're reading, because it just makes it a bit more intimate, and as best we can. So we're just going to take a few minutes. So I'll be back in a few, and yeah, so say 6:37. So we'll take 5 minutes and then we'll come back. So yeah. Okay, we're all just starting to, we've got just stand by prop. Everyone else is still joining us, so maybe just another minute while we round everyone up. So, yep, get comfy. It was 5 minutes went fast. I think we needed a bit longer. So.
Yeah, I feel a bit. I'm freezing. Well, that's what I thought it was just me. I thought something wrong with me, but actually it was me.
I was going to get changed into my little dress in travelling season, not long after. But I didn't get a chance. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so you stay while
Yeah. I haven't really been doing a lot of this stuff online. Have you?
No.
You know, I like the personal touch. Like I really enjoyed our older stuff.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then that thing we had down in Pioneers thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that too. Were you there?
I was online for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that was good because
just give you. Sorry, Suzanne.
That's why I thought I'd come to this one, because it was kind of awkward being online. You missed out on a lot of, as you say, that personal interaction. Yeah.
And it was really safe, like you were distanced,
Yeah.
because that was the thing that I thought, oh, maybe I wouldn't go, but yeah. It was good. It was really good. So they
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So welcome back. Looks like everyone's here. Wilma's not back, but that's how we'll get underway. And we've actually, while in our discussion, Suzanne is here, and she also was at Ulverston Historic Home, and she would like to share her story. So I'm going to bring her over here, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the inspiration. And so we've got time. So please welcome Susan Brereton with her story called
Smells from Afar.
Smells from Afar. Okay.
Smells have such a trigger for us, and they're a great way of bringing up memories about things, which is where this story kind of started. It is set in it's about one of the cleaners, one of the helpers at Ulverston, and it is set in the Moroccan room with the wee window there. I stand with my hands at the sink, staring at the slides of my memory flashing in front of me. I appear to be daydreaming, but I'm not. The man I have just seen triggered the search in my memory bank for images of where I've seen him before and when. Why do I feel anxious for the family because of this man? Red flags are flying in my brain, signaling danger, like the warning bells of the local fire engine racing to a fire. I've seen him somewhere before, and anger races through my blood because I know he spells trouble. Facts. Facts are what I need to remember. Only facts will help me warn the family that this man is trouble and should not be welcome here. I'm going to need the facts because I can hear the laughter filtering through the walls and down the stairs, coming from the two men. With facts, I can take this information to the cook who will pass it on to the butler. I need to warn them. Relax. If I use my intellect, the memory won't surface. Give my intuition some space and the memory will pop into my vision with ease. Standing at the sink, I take the time to look beyond the dust motes dancing on the sun rays streaming through the window in front of me. I see the kitchen garden. Cook is busy talking to the gardener. Fingers are pointing, hands are moving in and out, indicating sizes or quantities of the vegetables they have been pointing at. They appear to be discussing the requirements for today's meal. Then I look at the pile of dishes stacked up beside me and the stack Lily is bringing in as she follows Cook's order to wash everything. Oh, so many dishes to be washing. Cook feels there has been some form of critter crawling over the dishes, contaminating them, so she is having a huge clean-up here in the scullery and kitchen. The scullery is warm on this winter morning, with the central heating pumping out warm air and the hot water my hands are soaking in. Now that the sun is beginning to stream in through the windows that face north, I'm beginning to dribble in sweat. The rivulets run down between my shoulder blades. Next, the rivulets will begin running between my breasts. That feels so disgusting. I would love a bath or even a shower like the one I've seen upstairs in the bathroom, but that is not about to happen. I could dream about that, but instead my mind niggles at the puzzle of where I have seen that man, teasing my mind with options based on where I've been working, both here in Dunedin, New Zealand, and Edinburgh, Scotland. Relax. The memory will come. Trust. I saw this man earlier this morning. Lily had been late to work, having slept in. Cook asked me to step in and take the breakfast dishes out to the dining room before the family came down. As I was walking from the kitchen to the dining room through the library, I saw him. His cold eyes stared at me as I carried the dishes. He sat on the chair in the library, just staring. He didn't appear to have a book on his lap. What was he staring at? Why was he just sitting there staring? He freaked me out a little. I moved quickly into the dining room. I did wonder about going back to the kitchen via the Logarin hall, but that felt wrong, and it was longer. That felt like I was showing my fear, and I was stronger than that, wasn't I? Be strong. I have to stand tall as I walk back through the library. He's not going to get the better of me. This is an amazing family to be working for and a great team to work with. I know I am safe working here, unlike some of my past places of employment. The girls are protected here. I value that in an employer. Finally, I've finished the dishes. They are washed, dried, and stacked neatly to be put away. I carry the plates and dishes through to the kitchen for Cook to put away. The butler is asking for a couple of extra dishes that appear to have been misplaced. I think I've seen them, so pop back into the scullery to check. There they are, underneath the tea towel. I pick them up and take them through for the butler. That's when we hear a loud crash in the logia, followed by muffled cackling. Or it appears to be coming from there. The butler races out to see what's happening. Cook is not far behind. I stop to have a wee giggle at Cook toddling down the corridor as fast as she can. Her hips are swinging, her arms are pumping. I swear if she had a rolling pin in her hand, she'd be swinging that as well. Watch out, whoever is responsible for the chaos. Since Cook has been distracted, I begin to put the plates away, or at least I try to. I'm not sure where all the plates go, so I leave those ones behind. If I go slowly, I might be here in the kitchen when Cook gets back, instead of being stuck in the scullery. Ooh, here comes Cook. She's not happy. She's storming down the corridor. She's seen me and asked me to get the broom and shovel. As I grab them and walk towards her, she stops, breathing heavily from all the action, but in between breaths, she manages to squeeze out the words telling me to clean up the broken busts in the logia. What? No point asking questions. Cook is having trouble breathing and that wastes time. In the logia, I see the bust of the father of the household, broken into smithereens, lying scattered on the tiles. I look out of the Juliet window above me and see this man's cold stare once more. This window looks out from the Moroccan-style room that backs onto the men's drawing room. Then it hit me, the smell. I stood there for a moment and I took a deep breath. The sweet, sickly smell that was coming out from the window above me was beginning to clear the fog around that man. I bet if I was to go up there into that room, I would find a hooker. No wonder Cook was mad. She hates foul smells, and this one just happens to kind of smell like a skunk letting off slightly sweet farts. Not good. I clean up the broken bust and think as I do that it's a shame that the only keepsake of the parents are these ceramic busts, one of which is no longer. The father's bust, which I'm now sweeping up, had pride of place in the men's room. Sitting there, we were always reminded the family patriarch figure was nearby. I wonder how I am going to bring it up with Cook, the detrimental effect this man can have on sensitive people. Cleaning up the smell brought back the memory of where I have seen him before. It was when I was working in London in the kitchen of a wealthy family. Their son was friends with this man. I really didn't have much to do with either of them, being a lowly servant of the kitchen. Keeping my ears open was important, so my mum told me, as that way I would know who to watch out for and who to befriend. The two men would often be seen going into the garden with this pipe thing. I remember the gardening staff often complaining about the smell. I remember even smelling the stench produced by this pipe thing once. After smoking with this pipe thing, the two men would always be a little strange. I heard Cook say that what they were smoking was not good for them because it challenged their brains to work properly afterwards. If I remember correctly, the son ended up being sent away because he changed. He appeared to be normal looking, but his personality had changed for the worse. Schizophrenia comes to mind when I think of him. He was such a lovely young man, the son of so full of life and happy. I was sad to see him go. The family was so busy with work they were not able to look after him. The son would just sit there some days with no expression, and other times he would be so paranoid. Such a radical change from the happy chap he used to be. Another symptom seemed to be him getting agitated very quickly and disordered thinking. The two seemed to go together. I so do not want this to happen to George. He's only 17 years old, and with the butler his only father figure at home, he could be manipulated very easily. Rumour had it from the house staff in London that each time this man turned up at the house, something would go missing. Normally something small and valuable. It appears that this man manipulates his way into a friendship for ulterior motives. Quickly I finished tidying up the debris. I listened to their childish laughter while getting angry with this man at his manipulative ways. I move quickly to the kitchen to deposit the remains into the rubbish, then find Cook. She knows a little of my history, so I hope she trusts me. Combined with her anger, hopefully she'll take some reasonable action, like telling the butler. Maybe the two of them will get rid of him from the house while the other older siblings are away. I began telling Cook about this man until she grabbed me and frog-marched me in to see the butler. I had to begin all over again with my story. I'm a little nervous of the butler, even though he seems to be fair. He can sometimes be a little fierce. My knees are knocking as I speak. When I finish, I'm released back to the kitchen where I scurry off to. Next, I hear yelling and thumping. What on earth is going on? Lily comes racing into the scullery to tell me in an aghast tone that the butler has dragged this man out of the Moroccan room by his ear, down the stairs, and was proceeding to pull him out the door. At least that's what Lily claims to have seen while she was putting out the lunch plates. Oh my golly gosh, I feel quite guilty about causing this chaos. As much as I don't like this man, I was not expecting such rough treatment. But underneath my horror and guilt, I'm a little relieved and pleased that we're safe. I do hope the butler walks him off the property. I head back to the kitchen, my safe space. Cook sees me come into the room and wraps me in her arms. The adrenaline washes over me at speaking up as I relax into her arms. This is unusual behaviour for Cook, so the reaction is short-lived. She steps back and thanks me for voicing my concerns. I radiate with happiness as I acknowledge her words. My knees may have knocked at the time, but now I know that I can stand up and be heard. What an achievement. And that's that.
So congratulations to Suzanne. I'm sure you'll all agree that it's a very well-crafted story. I remember when I first read that story, and I think the editor's comments came back that it was so great that this she hasn't got a name, is it? The protagonist on the outside seems quite meek, but actually she really stepped in. And I think that and so this is the revised version with a new ending, and which is really acknowledging the way that she really found her voice and she spoke up, and that's probably really beneficial for the family. So very uplifting story. Suzanne came to our program. She admitted that she was a rather nervous writer. I think she was a little bit unsure, but I think we can all agree that she has completed the task and was also awarded a highly commended certificate from our editorial team. So congratulations, Suzanne, and thank you so much for sharing the story. So just checking in, how's everyone? Are you all feeling okay? You good? Good, great. Okay, so we're going to have a go at switching. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that you can see the screen. We're going to introduce Emma Neal. Yep. So next, so what we like to do with these wee write-ins is have a lesson. Sometimes we have live teachers come. Sometimes it's by Zoom. This time we had a few people asking about editing, and so I talked to Emma about replaying the session that she shared with us at Ulverston Historic Home. So Emma Neal is an award, this is her book here, but she's actually an award-winning novelist, poet, editor, and creative writing tutor. Her writing has been featured extensively in magazines, newspapers, and journals, and several anthologies. She's got nearly 20 years experience as an editor, and so what we're going to do is listen to her share her shortcuts, tricks, and tips to the editing process. Now, the easiest way for us to do this, what I'm worried about is that if we play the video in the room, there may be feedback and it may distort. So what I've done is I've put a link in the chat box. Hopefully, if you go to the bottom of the screen and you can see the chat box, and you'll see a link to YouTube. So it takes about 28 minutes. So we'll watch the video here in the room with the link, and if you watch the link as well. If anyone has got any problems, I have got my phone. I'll put, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just a link, but 021 511. I've just put my phone number in the chat box if anyone needs to call me. So what we'll do is if everyone plays the video, and anyone who's interested in editing is take about half an hour, and we'll go and watch that video. So we'll do that now, and yeah, I'm just clicking on the link. Oh no, I need to stop the share. I've stopped sharing so that when I play it in the room, it won't distort. Hang on.
you still there? Mm.
Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm just going to switch the screen around and hope for the best, and hopefully you all will join in a few minutes. Can you give me a thumbs up if you've finished watching the movie? Cool. Great. Hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully you can see the screen. Now, Emma at the end said that there were some exercises, and I ambitiously thought we might be able to do some editing tonight, but I think it's a little bit awkward, and it's such a personal journey. So we'll send out again that link to that video and actually the exercises, so that you can experience that, what she was talking about, that terrible prose and editing it. And this leads nicely into what we were starting to talk about before, when we were sharing our story. Like, I did say that part of this evening we would give a brief update on what's happening with our own collection, One Home, Many Stories. So as you've heard tonight, and in our portal, we've got some examples of stories. And so where we're at, we had from cohort 1, we had 12 stories, and there may still be some coming from members from that cohort. Cohort 2 has really only just started, although we've had one student already submit her story, and she used Ulverston. And so I just wanted to comment about this, because this is the first time that our community, we came up with the idea, let's, produce a collection. But I guess it was a bit like the blind leading the blind, and a bit like, although some of our writers have been through this publishing process before, in the organisation team, we just sort of want to confess, we actually found we had trouble finding an editor, and when we did, they were very, very slow and very, very expensive. And so as we're going forward, like now that small collection's been edited, but we really do need to think about how we can expedite that process of getting the editing done a lot quicker. And then one of the difficulties was that there's only one of me and about 40 in our community. And I found that because I was organising the festival, the events, and the retreats and everything, I've been distracted organising that. And so I do have a gap in June. I've sort of earmarked parts of June to keep going. But if anyone wants to put up their hand or help with, formatting or design, or the difficulty is it's very time consuming, and it was very expensive, and so perhaps and then going forward, so trying to work out how can we keep going with the collection and achieve the result that we want. And I think we all do want to see the collection published. The other thing that we're doing is considering how we can keep going with the collection, and then use that learning and put that in and as a process, and publish me. And so if anyone wanted to volunteer with anything at all to help move that, correction, there's lots of jobs that could be done, editing, formatting, talking to the printers. If anyone's got any experience in the team and wants to help bring this to life, I'd be most grateful. I am doing the best I can, but I do want to be honest. It really, it is a lot more work than we thought, and I pretty much volunteer all of my time organise these things, and I've just realised, wow, it's a really big job, and perhaps if I had some help, then things would move a bit quicker. So please, if you've got any skills or you want to help bring this collection to life, certainly Ulverston Historic Home are quite keen to sell it, and then we also need to talk about how do we revenue share. I mean, it may not make a lot of money or any money, but it would be quite good to at least cover the costs, and then just throwing some ideas around there. So has anyone got any suggestions or thoughts or ideas?
I have some sorry, I have some experience. I can hear the echo.
That's annoying.
Formatting, and I've worked in some parts of publishing, so I could talk to you one-on-one, Julia. Maybe we could talk about that.
That sounds fantastic, and we've also got a whole series of lectures from the Bestseller University, step by step, how to put everything up onto Amazon, and we've got an incredible library of resources to watch, learn, and listen. So I'll get in touch with you, and then I think thank you for offering, Raywin. I really do want the collection to go ahead, so I'll get in touch. So thanks. Cool.
Okay, sure.
Julia, I just want to mention I mainly publish ebooks. I've hit a couple of snags with the print versions. You've got to jump through a lot more loops with Amazon and lulu.com. But I'm quite happy to help anyone with their ebook publishing. If they've got a manuscript for me, I'll certainly do that. There'll be no charge, by the way.
Thank you, Prop. That's very generous, and but part of the lovely thing about this community is learning from each other. Estelle, I see you've got your hand up. You've got a comment there?
Yes, hi. I was just wondering about that nice man who came and spoke to us from the store in Dunedin. He did small run print jobs and so forth, and he had quite a lot of ideas about how to put your smaller publication out. Have you spoken to him at all?
Actually, I had breakfast. Had a breakfast meeting the other day, and he was there. So I spoke to him. I caught up with him again, and it prompted me. So he would certainly be a really good person. So good idea, Estelle. Cool. Now I'm going to skip ahead. I wasn't sure if Emma's slides from her talk would appear on the screen. I'd forgotten the way that we videoed it. They were all there, so I felt like I had to, put all of her slides. So just skipping through. So we're coming to the last little section, only a few more minutes. Thank you for hanging in with us. Just a wee bit of news. So our next We Write In chat group, also room in Zoom. The host city is Christchurch. It's probably around, it could be Wednesday the 20th of July, or 19th, 20th, somewhere around there. I'm still waiting for dates. I have approached a host club in Christchurch that hasn't been confirmed, but if anyone knows of any writers in Christchurch, it's a lovely hub for stories. So we'll have our next meeting from there. Anyone who's got any ideas for speakers, lessons, we've got a whole library of material we can pull from the Publish Me program. And again, always interested in inviting writers to share, and hopefully people from Christchurch, and again it will be Room and Zoom. I think the last time we met, I live streamed from Lake Rotorua, where I live, and so that was the property I was zooming from, and I was so inspired by that location. So that's another picture of it there. Beautiful. And so we actually developed a retreat for writers. And so you're the first to really learn about this. We're calling it the We Write Away Go Solo Retreat for Writers. It doesn't have to be solo, but it's good for small groups. And we are just offering that in Rotorua at the moment because I have a homestay, bed and breakfast holiday network. And so beautiful places all by the lake. So it's you can take a 5 or a 7-day itinerary, eat, write, stay, just rediscover your passion. We've got lots of activities, right seeing all around Rotorua. And of course we provide lots of local knowledge, bike trails, spa pools, hot pools, cycling, and all the right seeing activities. Empowered again by Look After Me. So we've kept it really easy. If anyone's interested or knows someone who needs to go on a writer's retreat for whatever reason, what we do is we offer a whole range of accommodation, camper vans, holiday parks. We've got bed and breakfast. It's the bed and breakfast Redwoods. That's with our host Viv. We've got a really nice studio unit, and it's not terribly expensive. $140 a night is pretty reasonable, and they do discounts for us. We've got holiday houses, like $185 for a whole holiday house, and it sleeps. I think that one sleeps 6. The Haven, I think it's also sleeps 6. So, and then what we do is we put an itinerary where you can go down around various attractions like the Buried Village, learning about the history of the pink and white terraces, visit Waiamangu, Waitapu, seeing the thermal wonderlands, going to the Redwoods, lots of options for hot pools, and that was a random photo of where I was, so this was me at, I was actually broadcasting last time from one of the holiday houses, and I'd been there all morning. Yes, that's actually my computer set up at the holiday house. And so I know all the properties and the owners really well. So we've made it really simple. And so again, it's on our blog. You'll see the blog there, We Write Away. All the details are there. And all we do is if you're interested, click get a no obligation quote. We love to keep things really quick and simple. So it's just a Google form where you tell us like 5 days or 7 days, and then what style. And so different people like, different accommodation, and we'll just get the best deal basically, and then provide, and then you also get full and forever access to the Great Writing portal. So you can sort of take those lessons on holiday with you. And I also am excited to reveal that we did secure some Creative New Zealand funding to bring a new event to Rotorua. So it's called the Great Write Away. It's a festival right in the heart of the Hot Tub Valley. Find your tribe, discover your voice, tell your stories. So that's what we're saying. And it's going to be a really beautiful event. It will be fully hybrid, and we'll actually have professional people to run the software, not just me. So we've got, we'll have a team of people, and we're actually looking at getting 360-degree cameras, filming the tourism hotspots, which are beautiful. You'll love it. So if you can't get there, we're doing a collaboration with Jitsu 360, which is really cool new software to bring the event to life. And so we've got 7 days, 30 tutors, 15 venues, and we've got masterclasses, guest speakers, workshops, writing and sharing. I've got a couple of panel discussions in there, a lot of learning, a lot of laughing, a lot of right saying, and a few tours. Some of the speakers we are replaying, like some of that early content, Fiona, Catherine, Chidgey, Diane Brown, because they're superstars in their own right. And we've got a bunch of new speakers as well. This is a very busy slide, but just to say that the program, 7-day program, it's all there, it's all on the website. More information, Google Great Write Away. We are only releasing 24 tickets. I know it's tiny, it's a very tiny live event. It's not a huge festival because we're going from venue to venue. And so, I've done that very deliberately. So, but you guys are the first to know. We have got some articles coming out together with, because New York are now flying to New Zealand, and so we're looking at bringing international writers in. Again, all the details on our website, The Great Write Away, and we've tried to price it. We're still looking for sponsorship, but there's concession, like you can have a whole days of lessons for $55. We've got, again, festival licenses. We've got 7-day passes, 5-day passes, 3-day passes, and then single-day passes for all of the lessons. And we've broken the entire week down. Days 1 through 4 are the Great Write In with lots of new content, and the Publish Me is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So knowing that different writers are at their stage. So love to see you there. And I think that's pretty much it. We're really wanting to look after writers with our new portal, our new retreat, and our new festival. So the Great Write In, the We Write Away, and the Great Write Away. So you can see a bit of a theme going there. On behalf of my team who supports me at Look After Me and behind the scenes, I'd just like to say thank you so much for tuning up. We are actually going to finish right on time. So I think that was all I had to say. So with the last few minutes, if anyone has got any comments at all, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and say farewell, or any comments about this evening, or any particularly for our new member, new people, Mary, Prop, Jeanette, Angela. You're all sort of seeing this for the first time, so be great to hear if you've got any feedback, and also for the people in the room. So I'll be quiet, and if anyone, feel free to any feedback or comments about tonight, or about what you've seen or heard. Any questions?
Just a big thank you to you again.
Thanks, Raywin.
For all your hard work.
Thank you.
I'm afraid I'm a bit post-COVID.
Oh, and you're in Wellington tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, but
Yep.
I'm flagging.
Okay, all right. Well, you tuck yourself in, make sure you get a good drink, and thank you for making the effort to join us. Always lovely to see you, Raywin.
Good to see you too.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I second
Angela,
that,
sorry. Go ahead.
I second that, Julia. Thank you for everything. It was really great to catch up with people from the first intake again, and to meet new people as well. So thank you for all your efforts.
Thanks, Estelle. Great to see you, and we'll hopefully see you next time. And we'll have to have host a meeting in Wellington, I think. Hey.
Sounds good.
Sounds
good.
Great. Good. All right. Angela, you've been very quiet all evening. Have you got anything? Oh, sorry. Angela, and then Mary.
I'm quite interested to know whether you have got any plans to do like right away, the retreats in the South Island.
Actually, I do. I wasn't going to talk about it tonight because it's not quite ready for everyone to see it, but we do have this new product. It's called the We Write In to In, and what it is, it's a pilgrimage. I'm just fossicking through my paper here. May or may not have a yes. I'm going to attempt to show this. This will be terrible, but basically, yes, it does exist. I don't know. It's a We Write In to In is a pilgrimage from Christchurch to Dunedin. It's also 7 days. It stays in. We're staying with the Look After Me network. 2 nights in Christchurch, 1 night in Oamaru, 4 nights in Dunedin, and that's in development at the moment. And again, it's quite a bit of work to put the suggested itineraries and all the map pins together. So we've been on tour, we've been to all the locations, we've taken all the photographs. I'm putting that into a pilgrimage journey for you, but it's not quite ready yet. Yeah, but definitely. And the Look After Me network has been operating for 12 years. We've had 25,000 guests through. So, and so if you want to go anywhere in the country, just call my 0800 number and tell me what you're looking for, because there's a lot are listed on the website, but most of them they don't like to be listed on the website for various reasons. So, but I've got this huge database of about 700 properties all around New Zealand. So wherever you want to go, just give me a call and I'll I'll set you up. Don't worry. So I mean, you can go anywhere. But if you wanted a suggested tourist itinerary that's right saying, I'm only at the moment doing that for the Hot Tub Valley in Rotorua, because I live there and I know it really well and I feel very confident in showcasing the best of what I know. And likewise, Christchurch, Dunedin, Oamaru, I've spent most of my life there around that area too. So, and so yeah, there may be other places, but I prefer to stick with what I know at this stage. And then, because if no one's interested in either of those, then it might be a waste of time. But if those two, people are interested and they start selling and people enjoy them, then yes, it will create more. But yeah, so that was a little bit of a surprise I'm saving for another meeting. But yeah, it's in the pipeline. Good question, Angela.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mary.
Hi again, Julia. You were talking about Christchurch and you hadn't found an ideal venue yet. Well, I attended the Hagley Writers College course about 2 or 3 years ago, and from there I took a step up and joined the South Island Writers Association, which is a group of one of the many groups around Christchurch. However, they were kind of dying due to COVID and stuff, and now they seem to come under the auspices of Hagley Writers. And although they don't meet there, I think they have a close connection. So there'll be a lot of young writers and new writers. And Ronan, I can't think of a name, but I can send you an email of Rach Smith. She's the newsletter editor of South Island Writers Association, if you like.
You're wonderful. That would be absolutely delightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I sincerely appreciate that. Yeah, we just like to expand the network. And I'm from Christchurch originally. I've got a lot of contacts there. Not so many writers, but yeah, I'd love to meet more people and hear their stories. So thanks, Mary. Yeah, I'll be in touch.
I'll shoot you an email about
Thanks.
it. Yeah.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you for everything. It was
You're
awesome
welcome.
tonight.
You're welcome. Yeah, and thanks for staying the course. I know it's a long evening. It's 10 to 8 here. We're going to be kicked out of the library very soon. So, Ebony or Prop, any last comments? No, he's all good.
I'm not going to show you because I've got my pajamas on.
Good girl. Good girl.
But thank you. It was appreciated, and I hope we can meet up again sometime soon.
I do too, and thank you so much. Beautiful reading of your story. Okay, any last words in the room? Everyone's waving and packing up, and we're very aware that security will probably come up very soon. So I'm just going to leave it there. So give yourselves a good round of applause, and we'll see you in July. I'll let everyone know.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.